to talk about the steps for the day 2 of the geometric sequence project. If by any chance you haven't finished what we did on day 1, please refer to the previous video and the previous handout. Today, you are going to use the geometric sequence of 16 to 8 to 4 to 2 to 1 to guide you into merging your layers into one final unique layer. So I'm going to start by going to Photoshop, where I already have my project open. Now, I did all different pictures of people painting. So I've got people from different cultures, different backgrounds, young, different ages, doing different types of paintings. So that was my theme. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure all of my layers are in order. Number 1 needs to be on the bottom, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5, and so on, all the way up to 16. So you just want to go through and make sure you got all the layers in order. If your layers are out of order, count to make sure you have 16, and then go through and make sure that you label them each correctly, layer 1 and layer 2. So if you need to, you can move a layer around if they're not right. Or the other thing you can do is, like, if I wanted to change the name of this one, I can click in here and change the name, because you're going to want them to say layer 1 through layer 16 in order. Because if you don't have that, that's going to mess you up. Okay, so what you're going to do first is you're going to go to all the pictures that are evenly numbered. So I'm going to start at 16, and I'm going to make the opacity for that 50%. And you can see through that one to the next one. And then I'll hide those first two. And then I'm going to go to 14, because that's also an even number, and I'm going to make the opacity 50%. Okay, so you're going to go through and hide them as you work. It's not going to let you make the layer 50% unless it's visible. And you can use the slider, or you can just type it in there. I think if you type it in there, it's easier. So that's your next step. So if you want to pause the video and go through and do that, you can. And then I'll see you in a minute. I'm going to make layer 6. 5 is fine. 4 will be 50%. Hide it. 3 is 100%. I did 4, okay. And then 2. So now I'm set with my layers at the correct point. So I've got all my layers that are even numbers are 50% opacity, and all my layers that are odd numbers are 100% opacity. Okay, so now the next step is to merge your bottom 2 layers. Now all of the eyes are clicked off, so the only layers I have visible are layers 1 and 2. You're going to right click in 2, and you're going to say, I'm not sure why this isn't working, you're going to say merge visible. Merge visible. So right click and say merge visible. I'm not sure why that didn't work for a second. Now I'm going to hide layer 2, because that's a combo layer. I'm going to go to the next 3. So I've got 3 is 100% and 4. So those 2 are visible. I'm going to right click and merge visible. So now these 2 layers are a combo, and I'm going to hide it. Make sure you hide each layer as you create it. Otherwise, it'll merge them and it's going to mess you up. So you've got to just keep going by merging the visible. And the exact number steps are in the packet too. So I'm making 7 and 8 visible, and I'm merging them. I'm hiding it. 9 and 10, merge visible, and I'm hiding it. Going back up, 11 and 12, and I'm going to merge visible and hiding it. 13 and 14, merge visible and hide it. 15 and 16, merge visible. So now I actually have 8 layers instead of 16. So I've compressed so that there's 8 different layers, and each one is a combination of 2. So now you're going to go ahead and take these 16, and you're going to go ahead and make these 16 into 8. So what you're going to do for that is you're going to change the opacity yet again. So you're going to go to the bottom. Layer 2 is 100%. Layer 4, you'll make 50%. And in your packet, I wrote out which 4 layers need to be 50%. 6 stays 100. 8 is 50, because now we're counting by 4s. 10 stays 100. 12 goes to 50. I'm going to hide 12. And then 14 stays the same, and then 16 goes to 50. Okay, so now I'm ready to merge these, so I'll hide them all. I'll go to the bottom 2, and now that is 4 layers together, and I'll right click, and I'll merge visible, and I'll hide it. I'll go to 6 and 8, I'll merge visible, and I'll hide it. I'll go to 10 and 12, I'll merge visible, and I'll hide it. And then I'm going to go to 14 and 16 and merge visible. So now I just compressed 8 to 6. And every time you do this, the steps are going to get quicker. 8 to 4. Once you have 4 layers, 4 stays 100, 8 goes to 50%. It's easier when I type it in. 12 stays 100, 16 goes to 50%. Okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to make the bottom 2 visible, and that's 8 layers together. And you're going to click and merge visible, and then you're going to hide that one. And then the top 2, you're going to say merge visible. So now you have 2 layers, and each one is a combination of 8 layers. For layer 16, I'll make that 50% since it's the top one. And layer 8, we'll keep that one 100. And I'm going to right click. I'm going to right click and merge visible. And now I have all of my layers combined. But you can't really see them, it's not bright enough, but yours will look something along the lines of this once you have all 16 merged. Now it's time to make the layers stand out. And I had to make this smaller so you could see the tools along the top. Along the top, if I go to Enhance, Auto Smart Fix is going to pop the layers. So that's the first thing, is Auto Smart Fix. The next thing you can do is you can go to Adjust Lighting, Brightness and Contrast. If you want it brighter, if you want more contrast, you can do that. The other thing you can do is Enhance. You can change the color variations. Okay, so you could go Adjust Color. You can do color variations. So if I wanted it, you know, with more blues, if I wanted it lighter, if I wanted it darker, okay? So you can go ahead and change it around. That's all under Enhance, Auto Smart Fix, okay? Enhance, Adjust Color, Color Variations. Also, Adjust Lighting. You can change the brightness and contrast. You can change the shadows and highlights, and you can go around until you're happy with it. Remember, this is an abstract work of art, so it's going to look sort of non-objective. You're not going to be able to tell for sure what it is. You'll know, and some people may be able to tell, but it's your sort of abstract impression of the subject matter compressed into different layers. When you're finally done and you're happy with it, you're going to say File, Save As. You're going to go to whatever class you are, Student Share, General Share, Kakuzi. I'm using the orange class for example, and we've been working on it. I saved mine in the layer project, but now I'm going to save mine as a JPEG because I'm done. So if I look, Colin Feisner already saved his correctly. Colin Feisner, Geometric Layers. I'll make mine say Geometric Layers too because that sounds good, Colin. So I'm going to go backspace. I'm going to say Amy Kakuzi, Geo Layers, finished. It's a JPEG. There's 2 different JPEGs. You want the top one, the bottom one's for the web. And I'm going to say Save, and then I'll say OK, and now my project is done. You will find 16 to 8 layers takes a while, but once you get going, you've got it. Okay, good job. Follow the steps in the packet. You can do this.